Hello and welcome to the Capitol Report on NTD television. I'm Steve Lance. The ball is now in the court of President Biden, but the White House today doubling down on its refusal to negotiate on the GOP's debt ceiling plan. What's next as the deadline looms to avoid a national debt default? NTD's Iris Tao brings us more from the White House.
House Republicans have now passed a bill to raise the nation's debt ceiling while cutting federal spending. But the White House on Thursday doubled down on its refusal to negotiate while calling the bill an extreme MAGA wish list. Watch.
House Republicans are holding the economy hostage, threatening Americans' jobs and retirement savings unless we and the Senate agree on an extreme MAGA wish list.
We've done our job.
On Wednesday evening, House Republicans passed a bill to raise the debt limit, but that's on the condition that a government needs to limit its spending growth to 1% per year. It'll also claw back COVID relief money, slash new funding for the IRS, and block the Biden administration's student loan cancellation plan. And while the White House slams it,
it'll kill jobs.
Republicans say their plan will save taxpayer money for what's really needed.
It will protect people who need the benefits while at the same time providing an incentive for people to get back in the workforce.
But Democrats say the GOP's bill is dead on arrival, as they will accept nothing else but
a clean plan to avoid default, with no ransom notes, no floors, no brinksmanship.
But time is running out. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the nation's largest business lobbying group, is now directly calling on the Biden administration to start negotiations now that Republicans have passed their bill. And President Biden, meanwhile, insisting on Wednesday.
Happy to meet with McCarthy, but not on whether or not the debt limit gets extended.
And in the coming days, the U.S. Treasury would unveil a new date after which the government would actually run out of money and potentially default on its payment if the debt ceiling is not lifted. And as that's coming, the pressure will only intensify for Biden and Republicans to start talking. Reporting from the White House, Iris Tao, NTD News.
Chaos at the southern border is expected to grow as a key immigration enforcement measure is set to expire. Today, House Republicans and the Biden administration unveiling their own plans to secure the border. NTD's Melina Wisecup has the details on these differing proposals.
House Republicans tell us they're prepared to bring a border security package to the floor for a vote in the coming weeks. This package includes reforming the asylum process, restarting construction of the border wall, hiring more Border Patrol agents, among other measures. GOP leadership tells us this is the Republican fix for the illegal immigration surge.
It deals with the unaccompanied alien children issue I just talked about. It deals with the Flores situation, deals with asylum, E-Verify, parole authority, and of course the Remain in Mexico policy.
But Democrats aren't buying it, saying that this would create even more chaos at the border by essentially shutting down the asylum process. This GOP proposal comes at a time when Title 42 is expected to end in just 2 weeks. That's that pandemic-era policy that allows Border Patrol agents to return illegal immigrants back to their home countries. The Biden administration, since taking office, has flip-flopped between trying to discard Title 42 and making extensions to keep it in place. Now the Biden administration is warning of an expected influx in illegal immigration once this pandemic-era policy does come to an end. They announced a new proposal to create more processing centers in Central American countries to reduce some of this influx. Secretary Mayorkas sent a message to cartels when he announced this new plan. Take a look.
The smugglers' propaganda is false. Let me be clear. Our border is not open and will not be open after May 11th. This is a hemispheric challenge that demands hemispheric solutions.
Part of that proposal is to create more processing centers in Central America. Do you think that would in any way reduce the volume of migrants coming to the U.S. border?
What President Biden and Secretary Mayorkas are doing are doubling down on the failed policies that created this problem rather than working with us to solve the problem.
Whenever you say we're going to create a quicker pathway into the United States, more people are going to come. And then they get here and they call home and say, hey, the door really is open. So they everybody else comes. And the more that incentive happens, the wave just gets bigger and bigger.
This GOP proposal is expected to be a party line vote because it does only focus on border security and does not include any immigration reform like Democrats have been pushing for. So while it is likely to pass the House in May, its fate in the Senate is an uphill battle. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Melina Weisskopf, NTD News.
A senator is proposing subpoenas for Supreme Court justices. That's after Chief Justice Roberts declined to testify under oath. NTD's Arian Pazdar spoke with a legal expert to explore the ongoing scrutiny surrounding the nation's highest court.
Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal on Thursday said,
"In my view, we should consider issuing subpoenas for Supreme Court justices, whether it is Justice Thomas or someone else, but also for other evidence."
This comes after Chief Justice John Roberts on Tuesday declined an invitation to testify under oath. He sent this letter noting that testimony before Congress by the Supreme Court's Chief Justice is exceedingly rare, as one might expect, in light of separation of powers concerns, and that there are only two prior instances, one in 1921 and the other one in 1935. This comes amid increased scrutiny, mostly from Democrats, surrounding the Supreme Court's rules. Maine Senator Angus King and Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski on Wednesday introduced the Supreme Court Code of Conduct Act. It would order the nation's highest court to write a code of conduct for itself.
All they have to do is take the federal canons of judicial ethics, which are already in place for every federal judge in the country, and apply them to the Supreme Court.
Matt Staver is a lawyer and founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. He tells me the ethical codes that apply to attorneys and judges also apply to Supreme Court justices.
So they've already had and always have had an ethical code under which they have to operate.
That's interesting. So why do these senators then want to impose a new code?
I think the senators, some of them have a political agenda. They don't like some of the decisions. They're trying to lash out and they're trying to assert control. The problem is that really oversteps the boundaries of the three branches of government.
This comes after reports that a Republican donor has been inviting Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to luxurious vacations for years. Thomas says he was advised he didn't have to disclose the trips because the two are close friends. However, many Democrats now say Thomas was supposed to disclose those gifts.
I think Justice Thomas did what he was required to do, and certainly the rules have changed or will change in the future, and Justice Thomas and the other justices will comply with them.
The Senate Judiciary Committee is set to hold a hearing on Tuesday to review the Supreme Court's ethical standards. Arian Pazdar, NTD News.
West Virginia's governor is setting his sights on the Senate. Republican Governor Jim Justice announcing his bid for the U.S. Senate seat earlier today. The move sets up a potential challenge for the incumbent Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. Manchin is considered one of the most vulnerable incumbents in 2024. Justice ran for governor in 2016 as a Democrat, but he switched to the Republican Party in 2017. It's not the first time he's changed parties. He was an independent and a Republican until 2015. Manchin is another former governor of West Virginia. He's now currently serving in the Senate since 2010. The Democrat has not yet said if he plans to run for re-election in 2024. Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.